After amassing nearly 5,000 rushing yards and 50 rushing touchdowns en route to 2 Heisman trophies in college, Nigel Cunningham is ready to hit the combine and take his talents to the NFL, where he can hopefully win a Super Bowl the same way that he won a national championship with Auburn. And thankfully for us, the way that we performed in college, we're going to be getting a little bit of a boost coming in here to the combine, as we're going to be getting a +4 import bonus, which is nice because that starts us off at a 69, and that's not including the bonuses that we might end up getting in the combine. And in the same way that he's going to be keeping his same classic look from college, he's still going to be keeping his same classic archetype as a receiving back, because he was just as effective in the passing game as he was in the rushing attack at Auburn and even at Indiana. It'd be really nice to be able to continue that into the NFL. Now, we do have 4 extra skill points, and honestly, I really think that we need to up the speed, probably the acceleration as well. And since we do have 1 extra, we did end up trucking a couple guys near the end of the season, so let's end up putting 1 up in strength as well. So I know it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any gold abilities here, but at the same time, I think that we're going to be extremely effective no matter where we end up going. And with a player comparison to Christian McCaffrey, you know that we have to turn this on all Madden to make sure that we actually hit that potential. Not that upping the difficulty is really going to affect, how many yards we end up getting and everything like that, but you know what I mean. I feel like if we really want to be able to become one of the best running backs in the NFL, we need to make this as difficult of a challenge as possible. As we were talking to our agent here, totally missed what she was saying. I apologize for this, but let me tell you, I've been waiting for this because I would assume that she's asking if we're ready for the draft. But obviously, we do have the combine to end up doing first, and hopefully we can end up doing well in that, be able to get some boost to some of our stats and our abilities, and hopefully, again, we can end up getting to become a really high draft pick in this next draft. But in order to do that, we need to go into Indianapolis here to the combine and really show out and prove that we are the best running back in this draft, where, again, hopefully we can end up going early in the first round. But let's see if we can start the right way with the 40, because it'd be really nice to be able to get that really big speed boost that you end up getting for getting a good time. Get there. And there it is. Let's go. A 4.35. That is definitely going to put us at least in the top 5, I would believe. At the very least, we end up getting a good boost, as unfortunately we had one guy who ended up beating us by 0.03 of a second. Still, number 2 on the list is not bad. Now it's time to test the strength, and honestly, I don't know exactly how many they want us to end up getting here, but I'm really hoping that we can get at least 12. Question is, do we have the stamina to be able to do so? As we're not doing too bad so far. Actually at 6, and we still got a good amount of health here. We're already getting to 8. I'm hoping we can get the double digits right here. That's 10. We might actually be able to get to 15 if we keep this up. Let's go 12. It's really good. Let's keep this up. Again, a good strength bonus here would be great too. It's one thing that I really wanted to invest in too, especially if we're going to be a receiving back. We really want to be able to make those catches in traffic, and if we have better strength, I think we're going to be able to do that a little bit better. As we get to 19, we actually get to 20. I'm surprised we got all the way there. I was expecting 15, but 20 should definitely put us pretty high on that list, as never mind, that is going to be 12th. Good news is we definitely far exceeded our expected result, and even though we're not number 1, at least we're right there in the hunt. Plus, we end up getting a +5 to strength and stamina, and needless to say, that's going to help us in the NFL. The question is, can we be just as lucky on the broad jump? This is going to be a little tougher. We need to make sure we max out the power and get a good launch angle. If that's not a bad jump, that's not going to be 12 feet, but it almost makes it to 11. 10 feet, 11 inches. Where's that going to put us on the leaderboard? Hopefully high enough where we're going to be happy. Let's go. That is number 2. Again, just end up missing that top spot by 1 inch. But the good news is we do get a +5 to our jump. Again, another A grade, and that's great in the combine. But now it's time to test that agility. So let's be perfect on all these cuts and see if we can be perfect. Very nice right there. Rapid press. Decent cut. Not great though. But that is going to be a 4.18. And that is not horrible. Question is, where's that going to put us on the leaderboard this time? Just want to be near the top, as we are number 2 on that. That's awesome. That's another A grade, and that's a +5 to change of direction. We're going to be incredible on the ground. And now it's time for drills. And I remember doing this one in college, so let's hope that we can be perfect here as well. Let's go. Oh, we need to juke. Let's go. We get through. Not the prettiest of jukes, but still good enough to be able to make that work. Get to 3, 2, 1. Let's go. You're going to have to juke again. Go right in, and we got it. 2 out of 8. Different reaction drill. So let's go. Let's see if we can be perfect here too. End up juking in. Ooh. That's kind of cutting it close. We need to be perfect here yet again too. End up doing a little juke. And we end up getting there with just barely the right amount of time. We got this a couple more times, it looks like. I'm okay with that. We get around 0.333. That's a lucky number right there. So let's see if we can be perfect yet again. We end up juking. That was not the right way, but we still make it. But now it's time for the route tree. So let's see if we can get open. There we go. We end up getting it there. Just need to make sure that we don't lead them too much here. So let's get right here. No, man. I was hoping he was going to loft it like I've seen him end up doing on other YouTubers' videos. I was really hoping that we were going to be able to lock it right there. But the good news is we still get 7 out of 8. And again, that is an A for that one right there. Excuse me, that is a B. And that's the only one we end up getting, though. That is a great grade right there. 4 A's, 1 B. We were number 2 in 3 categories. 12 in the bench press, but then again, 20 reps. Not bad for us. But look at that. Our current draft projection, top 5. Question is, where do we go? But before we actually get to the draft, we got an interview right here. And honestly, all we can do is just be us. Be the same Nigel Cunningham that we were in college. Someone who thinks about his teammates, is selfless for the team, and someone who, again, just wants to make sure that everyone ends up succeeding. So it's Super Bowl week. We witnessed a star teammate violating curfew. Honestly, I'm going to try to talk some sense into him. I don't need to bring it to coaches. I'm also just not going to let him kind of slide right there. You know what I mean? Need to hold them accountable and make sure that we're all on the same page for the Super Bowl. So 4th quarter, game's on the line, play call comes in. We see a nice opportunity for the opponent's pre-snap alignment. What do? Honestly, I'm going to try to signal to the sideline, at least let coach know. Get a little bit of extra influence with him, which is great. Hopefully that'll get us to the starting lineup a little bit quicker. So how do you handle a teammate who criticized the coaching staff to the media after a loss? Oof, that's always a really tough one. What I got to say is, honestly, at that point, I know it's kind of weak, but we're going to say nothing. Let the coaches handle it. We really don't want to take sides at that point, and again, just want to make sure that stay in everyone's good graces. So how do you prepare your body during the off season? Honestly, what we love to do, we love that strength training. Don't get me wrong, we want to be flexible, and we want to make sure we can, still got that speed, the agility, and everything like that, but still, being able to plow over some guys when we don't have max speed, I think is going to be extremely important. So 4th and goal at the 1. QB is great at short yardage runs. Given the choice, would you give him your carry to let him try and score? Honestly, I hate to say it, but you remember how selfish we were at Auburn and Indiana. I want the ball in my hands. That's going to be mine. If we don't score, that's going to be on me, not on our quarterback. It's going to be the reverse of the Seattle Seahawks in that one Super Bowl against the Patriots. So how do we prefer to express ourselves? Honestly, let the ink do the talking. We can go out there, we can celebrate, we can be a T.O., we could be a Chad Ochocinco, but honestly, we're going to go out there and we're going to be quietly be one of the best running backs in the league. I don't know why I compared myself to 2 receivers. I think when I'm thinking about excessive celebration, those 2 come to mind the most. Maybe that's showing my age too, because that was a little while ago now. Either way, though, we are getting into the season now. Again, we're getting into the NFL draft. Currently, we are projected to be a top 5 pick. The question is, are we still going to be that way after that interview? As you look up there, oh my gosh, it looks like we're going to be the 5th pick, and I think you guys see who that team is. Oh no. Looks like we're packing our bags. We're going and joining Coach Stefanski over in Cleveland. That's incredible. The good news about this is we are a top 5 pick. We did end up landing that projection, and again, we're going to be getting top 5 money, which is actually incredible. Again, kind of wish that we'd be able to go to a better team, at least a better situation. However, the fact that they really don't have a quarterback means that they're going to be leaning heavily on the run, and if we can go out there and we can absolutely dominate some of these NFL defenses, then maybe we can carry the Browns to, at the very least, the playoffs. And I don't know how many seasons we're going to be going, but I really want to make sure that we at least see the playoffs once or twice. And if we can win a Super Bowl at the same time, I'm going to be extremely happy. So let's go in there. Let's sign our contract. Let's see how much money we end up getting. Again, we also get game points and everything. And honestly, $600 per game is really nice. 4 years, $35.8 million. I will take that. I wish I could see that money in real life. So let's sign that contract. Nigel Cunningham is now a Cleveland Brown. So it looks like our first objective here, especially here in the preseason, is to get to level 4 with Coach. We're already at level 3, which is great. But question is, how much longer is he going to be here? Now, if we can end up doing extremely well on the field and, again, carry us to a winning record, he'll stick around for a bit, and that influence is going to be extremely beneficial. So let's go into some training here. And honestly, I want to see how we end up doing, especially against our defense. Needless to say, we got an absolute beast on our defensive line. And question is he going to be out there for practice to be able to stop us? I think we're definitely going to see if he's there. And thank God he is not. So let's see what we can do to end up getting a gold right here. Get that extra Coach trust and get that extra influences. We end up getting a touchdown on that one. And if Coach is willing to continue to run outside, that's where I think we're going to have the most success. Question is that going to open up in an actual game? We'll find out once we actually get into the regular season. Needless to say, we need to get through this preseason, though, and make sure that, again, we be able to solidify our starting spot as the running back. So, I know our agent really wants us to go on a podcast here, but realistically, man, we got to be a fan favorite. Got to greet the fans. Yes, our agent is not happy with us, but we go up with that fan base, and that makes me extremely happy. So let's get into this first preseason game. We're taking on the Panthers, a team that has a lower overall than us. So let's hope that we can actually make our mark in this one. And thankfully, we are taking starter reps. That's a great sign. Question is, do we have the offensive line to be able to help? As that is going to be a no gain. Not great. So I think we're going to go out for a pass. We're a receiving back, aren't we? So why can't we really make our mark as we end up splitting out here? Oh, we got a linebacker lined up on us. Let's go. Let's do this. Good catch. We're going to get to the outside. That's some good receiving yards right there. You know, getting some good yards after the catch. And we are looking damn good right now. So let's keep it up and go with the screen. Why not? Let's see if our team can end up helping us that way. Let's go, Flacco. Hit me over here, buddy. There we go. Follow those blocks. Not bad. That's close to a first down. 2nd and 1, which means that we should end up having like a halfback dive as one of the options is, you know what? Let's go for the inside zone. Screw it. That was our bread and butter in college. Why can't it be in the pros as well? As look at that monster hole right there that we don't end up quite hitting. But at least that's 3 yards. And again, positive yardage is always a positive thing here in the NFL. So let's go with the big toss to the outside. Let's get some good blocks. There we go. Well, I was kind of hoping we can go off the hip of 85. But apparently not on that one. Let's go out for a pass on this one. 2nd and 10, we need to at least get closer to the first down marker. I'm really hoping that we can be the one to get us there. Maybe we can get a 3rd short where we can run for it. But we'll see. Ooh, that gets tipped. Thankfully, that's not intercepted, though. Although that was a very, very close one. As I think we're going to go for the... Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I was going to go for the scissors play. But instead, we're going for one more screen. And yeah, they were ready for that one. And unfortunately, that's going to stall out the drive. And not the right way to start here in Cleveland. Fortunately, that was the only drive that we ended up getting. However, again, we actually showed a couple good flashes there. Didn't really have any good runs on the ground, but we proved our worth in the receiving game. And again, 20 receiving yards, 3 rushing yards. Good enough for a C+, but honestly, at least we're working our way up there. We're going to have more chances in these other preseason games. I will say, though, before we end up getting into the next couple games, we do need to spend these 7 skill points. And honestly, we're going to up that carrying, and I think we're going to up the vision along with, I think, the spin move and the juke move. We will end up upping the trucking later on, but I think the break tackle, the carrying, and everything like that is going to be extremely important. So we have a total cost of 6 right now. We can put 1 more in something else. And as much as I'd love for it to be the catching, I think that we really need to, again, work on that carrying. We didn't fumble or anything in that last one, but we need to make sure that we're sure hands here. You know what I mean? We don't want to fumble again. That's what's going to take us out of the game, move us down the depth chart. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. Now, I do want to also equip some abilities here because we do have the X Factor slot. Let's say we have not unlocked anything yet, but we have for the gold. So let's go with the human joystick, and that's really great because again, that means that we can quickly shift momentum, change direction, everything like that, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is equivalent to shifty in college football, which is something that I really wanted back when we were at Auburn, but thankfully we can potentially get it here in the pros. Now, we're getting a nice little welcome to the team here in the team facility. Question is, who's the one to actually come greet us? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Is it going to be Myles Garrett? I don't know why it would be because we're on the offense. But again, potentially here, it could be Flacco. As it is not. That is just Coach who's coming up to us. My bad, thinking that it was going to be a teammate, but nope. Thanks, Coach. I really appreciate it. These practices have been a lot of fun. And again, we're proving that we're not that bad and that we could actually make a difference here at the NFL level. Can we handle adjusting our preparation every week? Yeah, I'm ready to do whatever it takes. Are you kidding me, Coach? Come on. 100 influence on that? Yeah, you bet that was a good answer. Yeah, that is the attitude we love to see. And again, that's going to move us up that depth chart, be able to kind of lock us in there at running back 1. So let's go. We got more training to do. We're going to be going for screens, and that's going to be a little rough. Let's hope that this works out better than they were in the game, because they really ended up reading that second one, and we did not get many yards at all, as we're going to cut that back. Let's go. Those are some good blocks. Where were those in the preseason game? It doesn't matter, though, because at least we're getting them in practice. And if we continue to get those blocks in the games, we're going to be absolutely unstoppable in the passing attack. And again, for Flacco being our quarterback, passing short's probably the right idea. So thank God we end up getting a gold in that one. Coach is going to be extremely happy. I don't know. Oh, we do get stat boost for that one, which is really awesome. And it looks like we got a hater. What else is new? Am I right? The better you get, the more you get haters. So let's go. Are we going to clap back or are we going to ignore it? Honestly, come on. We're pretty damn witty. Let's end up clapping back. I don't think the game enjoyed that one. Coach ain't happy with it, but that fan base, oh, you bet they love that. So we're still level 3 with Coach, which is unfortunate, but at least we're in the good graces with the fan base, and hey, that's what you really want. Well, let's go. This time we're facing the Eagles, a much tougher matchup than what we had against the Panthers, and let's hope that we can do well in this quarter, assuming we get to stay in for the entire quarter. Either way, though, ooh, not great blocks right there, but we still end up finding a way to pick up positive yardage. Thanks, man. I appreciate you helping me up right there. I don't know if he was trying to kind of mess with us or whatever, but it's fine. I'm going to take that as a positive thing. So another big run right up the middle. Let's get some better blocks. As man, I was hoping someone was going to be able to shed off and be able to take that guy. Instead, we're going to have to go out for a pass right here. Question is where we're going to be splitting out. We're going out into the flat. Let's find a way to get open for the first down right here. We can't go 3 and out on this first drive. You know what I mean? There we go. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get up to the first down marker, and that's going to be a 3 and out. But at least we get the ball all 3 times. By the way, I also just realized we do have a goal in this game of catching 5. We've caught 1. We're going to have to go for some more passing plays after this run to the outside as we get some better blocks. Get up there. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Finally, we end up breaking off a good run, and that's a good, 14, 15 yards, something like that? Yeah, let's keep that one up. Am I right? So let's see if we can split out here. Again, we don't need big catches per se. Obviously, we want to get in the end zone, but we just need to make catches. That's the main thing. There we go. Oh my goodness, man. That might actually be a touchdown. Let's go. That should be. Let's celebrate into the end zone. And let's go. We might not get 5 catches right there, but we'll take 1 to the house. Fortunately, we did only play that quarter. We didn't get the 5 catches, but we showed how electric we could be. We showed those flashes that we had at Auburn here on the field today, and let's hope that, and I'm assuming that our 3rd preseason game is going to be at home because the first 2 were on the road. Hopefully we can put on a show in front of the fans and be able to up that influence a little more. Yeah, the good news is we end up getting +3 skill points, which means that, yeah, we're going to up that ball carrier vision. I think that's going to be extremely nice. And honestly, I want to up our juke and our spin. Those are things that I know we didn't really work on that much, but I think will absolutely help us if we're able to get to the outside and stuff like that. So let's meet our coordinator, as if we kind of haven't already. I think we did, didn't we? Unless that was just the strength and conditioning coach, which it might have been. Either way, let's see what coach has to say to us. Obviously, we've been taking first team reps. Maybe that means that we end up starting as the running back 1. Let's see. Come on, coach. What do you got to say to me? Not even going to really greet me? You're just going to let me sit? Okay. Thanks. Yeah, that's really professional. All right, finding the preseason so far. Dude, it's been easy. I think that's what I said. So we're currently our backup, as Judkins is the starter? Really? Coach. Oof. I mean, guys, I think you agree with me on this one. I think that we really deserve to be running back 1. Again, we kind of showed the flash there in that last game. And I got to say, man, I should be starting right now. I could say that I'm here to compete. Okay, it just took that one. I didn't realize that there was actually a time kind of thing right there. That's okay. You know what? It probably better to not piss off the coach. Am I right? So that's fine. We're here to compete. We're going to get on the field eventually. But let's make sure that we get that starting role. And I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to here in this game. As we're going to end up going with that Oklahoma drill. And I'm really hoping that we can get that coach influence and be able to get to the top of the depth chart. And honestly, this one has been so much fun so far. As we're just trucking them. We're just celebrating into the end zone. We're picking up a big gold. And again, that's able to up the influence with the head coach and bring us up to a higher point on the depth chart. That's exactly what we're looking for. And hopefully we can get that before the regular season starts. As thankfully that gold is going to be great as we get into the week activities. So let's go. Ooh, do we get a new tattoo or do we wait until the season's over? Let's be smart here. We want to make it to the top of the depth chart. And I think being able to up that influence with our coaches and everything is going to make that a little bit easier. So let's get into this game. I think we're going to just be playing this first half. And let's hope that we can end up, I guess, accomplishing whatever goal that they set out for us. And thankfully, I know where to look for it this time. And this time, we just need to rush for a touchdown. I think we can do that, especially the way that we ended up playing in that last one. I know it wasn't a rushing touchdown, but still we're able to end up getting some good yardage, even if it was through the air. And if that is the case this time, we end up getting down there with another pass, then we might have to run out of bounds at the 1 and then run it in. We'll see what ends up happening, though, because we get a nice hole right there. Just not able to get through it, though. That's the problem. So let's make sure that we end up getting out there for a pass, and we just need a big first down. I think we can do it. It's just the Rams, you know what I mean? So let's go. Get it to me. Can't hold on. Maybe we should have upped that catching instead. And unfortunately, that was the only opportunity that they gave us. So it doesn't look like we're going to be the starter come week 1. However, again, we might end up getting into a game, which is going to be interesting. But, man, especially on the Browns, I would have expected us to be a starter week 1. It looks like we're about 500 influence away from being able to get up to level 4 with coach. And if I'm not mistaken with the coach, once we get up to level 4, that's where we become halfback 1. So we're getting extremely close to it, and I think once we get here into week 1, that is going to end up being the case. So let's end this preseason. Not exactly the best one. Again, we showed some flashes, but we didn't look extremely good. But it's okay. Once we get into the season here, I think that we're going to be a little bit better. We'll get up to halfback 1 pretty damn soon, and let's see what we can do to actually become the best running back in this league. Again, we showed those flashes in college. We showed some of them here in the preseason as well. But again, we have a lot to work on if we want to become the best here in the league. And if that means that we need to start as a backup, then so be it. But again, we have the talent to be able to do so. And I'm excited to see if we can actually bring Cleveland a championship. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The next one we're going to be taking on around like the first half of the season, I would imagine. Maybe the first quarter, but we'll see how it ends up pacing out. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down and drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and we'll see you on the rest of this journey.